Hey guys, and welcome to this showdown between the forces of Chaos, led by Papa Palpatine, the Sith Lord himself, up against the Beastmen, led by Sanfam there. So we're going to actually go into pause mode quickly, just to break down the armies a little bit, as of course this battle does get underway very quickly, which normally happens when Beastmen are involved. So for the forces of Chaos here, we do have double Marauder Horsemen on either flank, which is quite nice, and both of them are being escorted by Chaos Warhounds of Poison. Now these guys are super useful, so for any new players out there, I always highly recommend bringing some light cavalry or some doggos, for example, to protect your ranged units. Poison dogs are a great counter to enemy light skirmishers and so forth. They can drag them apart, but can also be sacrificed to poison and slow down the enemy to save your Marauder Horsemen, who you're going to need when coming up against the Beastmen on all their large threats. Now for the main Chaos battle line, it looks like we do just have cheap and cheerful Chaos Marauders. They do the job well. They can tear through lightly armoured Beastmen infantry, and just cheap and cheerful all round. We do have Chaos Warriors in a secondary line. The higher armour certainly going to be tough for the Beastmen to take down, as well as the Mirror Guard, Regiment of Renowned Chaos Warriors. These guys look absolutely fantastic and will deal very handily with the Beastmen forces. But one of the most interesting picks here is the double Dragon Ogres. So the Summoners of Rage is the Regiment of Renown version, and we see these guys all the time in a huge variety of matchups. They have magic damage, which gives them a little bit more of a niche pick as well, anti-large scaling and all that good stuff. But we also have one basic unit of Dragon Ogres, something I don't see too often. You often see the Dragon Ogre Shag-Off and so forth, but it's going to be interesting to see how these guys do perform. They're anti-large, and of course Beastmen can struggle to deal with large threats, and one of the ways they do that is by bringing Minotaurs, and these guys are certainly going to be able to go toe-to-toe with the big Mino boys themselves. Up in the sky, we do have a Chaos Sorcerer of Fire. Now, I've been playing Chaos a little bit more recently, and I've been really enjoying the Chaos Sorcerer Lords, especially up on their mounts. I tend to bring a dragon, but as you can see, this Manticore looks so cool. The armoured ones always look incredibly badass. He's going to be bringing Arcane Conduit, Burning Head, good for clearing out chaff, Cascading Firecloak, and Fireball, which can do so much consistent damage over the course of the whole battle. Now, for the forces of the Beastmen, he has gone for a bit of a cheeky vanguard with some Ungor Raiders, protected by the Destroyers of Drakwold, ranging around Ungors, and Blackhorn Ravagers are pushed up as well. So, nice cheeky little vanguard. We have a couple of Bestigors for his main battle line, either side, loyally guarding Morga the Shadowgave, easily the most competitive pick. I'm actually going to be experimenting relatively soon with kind of unfamiliar lords who don't get used too often. But Morga the Shadowgave is used in almost every single Beastmen match. He's just so much better than Malagor, Kazarak, and all the other guys. So he, of course, is going to bring in Staver and his Corruption and all the usual stuff you expect to get those spawn summons off. Over on this left-hand side, we do have a bit of a Monster Mash core, so double Minotaurs with great weapons. Going to be really interesting to see these guys go toe-to-toe with those Dragon Ogre Shag-Offs. Well, not Dragon Ogre Shag-Offs, sorry, the basic Dragon Ogres. I'm so used to seeing the Shag-Offs, it's a very interesting pick indeed. We have some Razor Gore Chariots as well to run over infantry, as well as a Gorball. Look at this bad boy. If he didn't get flung around the map so much, he'd be such a deadly combatant. I really hope they do bring out a Doom Ball at some point as well. We also have a Brave Shaman of Death, which is also incredibly interesting. So we're seeing some units we don't often get to see. Almost everyone goes with the Brave Shaman of Beast or Wild just to get those summons off, but instead we have a Death Caster here, bringing Fate Abuna and Spirit Leech. So without further ado, let's get this battle underway. Looks like there's some Chaos Warhounds in a deep reserve there as well for the forces of Chaos, and you can see the Marauder Horsemen going to be charging into combat range up against the Ungor Raiders. They can easily run over these cloven foes. But nice play here by the Beastmen, coming in with the Gorball, and the Minotaur is going to be driving these guys back. So nice micro by both players so far. Looks like Arcane Conduit has been popped on the Chaos Sorcerer Lord just to give him a little bit more Winds of Magic as the battle does start to come underway. You can see the Chaos are already starting to envelop the Beastmen here, luring them into this central trap. And we can see the first Fireball has gone down, hunting down that Brave Shaman of Death, which is doing some pretty solid damage straight out the gate. That certainly does add up. Looks like the Summoners of Rage are coming into this big block fight, trying to save the Chaos Marauders and Chaos Warhounds. They'll be good against everything in this block, but at the same time, the Minotaurs can certainly punch these guys in a vacuum. Bestigors trying to get overhead, they have been intercepted by Chaos Warriors. A matchup they will certainly win without support, and the Chaos Warhounds have swung their trap from reserve, going to be hunting down these Ungor Raiders and chasing them back for some fantastic value. These Razor Gores need to go over there and give them a little bit of a cheeky hand. So it looks like we do have a Spirit Leech going down on the Summoners of Rage. They're surrounded by Minotaurs as well, so they're certainly going to be getting dragged down here pretty damn effectively. You see they're getting destroyed by these Minotaurs off the bat. And a lovely Burning Head straight down the centre destroys these Bestigors and completely and utterly breaks and shatters the destroyers of Drakwold here. Brilliant burn in the head there, up to 59 kills already. Now, from the majority of the battlefield, the Beastmen have been pulled apart a little bit. Bestigors are being hammered down by Marauder Horsemen. Fantastic use of them. You often see these guys only going after large threats, but consistent value will help your cheaper units win the frontline engagement. So it looks like it's going Chaos favoured along the battle line, but in this central blob with the Chaos spawn active, it looks like Marauder Horsemen are being beaten back, Summons of Rage, and even the Dragon Ogres as well are taking some huge work. And oh no, the Summons of Rage became Chaos spawn. That is a disgusting and a horrible fate. So the big wrecking ball of the Beastmen forces is doing some fantastic work, but the Chaos just need to remember they need to outlast these Chaos spawn, and they can get back up on top. Another fireball going down on the Brave Shaman here, doing some pretty solid work once more. Merguard about to be run over here by chariots with a Fate of Buna. These guys are certainly not going to be long for the world. You can see their health absolutely tanking here, but everywhere across the battlefield, Chaos Marauders are pushing up, breaking down Bestigor herds and hunting down Ungor raiders. This Death Blob is going to be a bit of a problem though. The Chaos Warriors are simply getting run over here by a mixture of Chaos Spawn and Minotaurs. Both the spawns are active, so the balance power very heavily in favour of the Beastmen, but that is slightly overinflated at this point. In comes the Gorbel, hunting it down with that Chaos Sorcerer Lord with a glorious attack animation. I love the way they roll into combat. And then getting some big old slaps in as well, beating back those Chaos Marauders. So the only real anti-large options left here for the forces of Chaos are these Marauder Horsemen who can do nice consistent damage, as well as the Dragon Ogres. Dragon Ogres are going toe-to-toe with the Gorbel right now, maybe not the best idea they've ever had, as some Minotaurs are great weapons to just run to defend their Liege Lord. Getting there some pretty decent damage, but Minotaurs are losing hope as well. A glorious fireball coming down on top of the Minotaurs with great weapons, and that fireball has been used so successfully so far, doing that consistent damage over and over again, and somehow he launches a second fireball immediately. Hang on a sec, does he have some kind of item which gives him a new special magic missile or something? That was insane! He fired back-to-back fireballs there, okay. Not sure what's going on there, but fired back-to-back fireballs into the Minotaurs with great weapons. It's some fantastic value and really breaking them down, allowing his Dragon Ogres to escape here. Marauder Horsemen just chilling on the periphery here, throwing in their axes where possible, all trying to focus down one target, which is some nice play. And glorious cycle charging coming in by the forces of Chaos. Looks like that Chaos Sorcerer has had enough of the Brave Shaman of Death. He thinks Sorcerers are much better than Shamans, much cooler. He's going to be hunting down him where possible, getting some really good damage. The Man Squat actually packs a huge punch, even just for its size, but he's certainly have to fall back, as a nice Spirit Leech has been placed on the Marauder Horsemen, forcing them back. And the Chaos are in a little bit disarray here, slowly being forced back by the big, nasty, fear-causing units here. Some Bestigors are in here as well, who are pretty damn elite. Now, over on the far side, it looks like Chaos Marauders are successfully hunting down Ungor Raiders. And yeah, these guys can get forced off very quickly. It looks like Marauder Horsemen as well have been pulled out just to help hurry things up a little bit. So nice diligent play coming by the Chaos here, scrapping to the finish. Even though the bounce power is very heavily against them, they still do have some relatively decent tools. However, the Marauder Horsemen are running out of ammunition, which could be pretty key. But really fantastic play here. This is something I occasionally do as well. When you have a death blob like this, and it's a real powerhouse, you have to stick together. You can see the Bestigors got isolated over on this flank and simply picked off for absolute free. And now the Gorbel and Minotaurs desperately trying to get back over here, but the much faster Chaos Sorcerer Lord and Marauder Horseman simply going to float away, laugh, and throw a few axes. So really good play so far from the Chaos. And once again, we can see the Brave Shaman and Razorgore Chariots. It seems like a good idea right now to hunt down these Mirror Guard and get some good value. But when your opponent has this much mobility against you, you're now going to be isolated and easily picked upon, while the rest of the forces simply kite back. Up on the high ground here, it looks like a full unit of Chaos Marauders is still active, which is going to be a big problem coming into the late game for the Beastmen. Is hunting down some Ungor Raiders, and yeah, Marauder Horsemen clearing up Raiders as well. So there's a nice pocket of strength of Chaos to come back, but this is still a really dangerous blob. Gorbel is no joke, and 9 Minotaurs and a full health Morga is pretty scary stuff indeed. Chaos Sorcerer Lord going to be floating over here now, trying to hunt down the Brave Shaman of Death, no doubt. And in he comes, and I'm just about to catch him. He has decent mass, so he can pin chariots relatively effectively, getting 1 or 2 good swipes. And yeah, that Brave Shaman, down to 121 health, is currently routing. He simply can be chased off as well. Down on the centre of the battlefield here, Dragon Ogre's not doing too bad, going toe-to-toe with those Razorgores. I say that, and 3 of them get run over. Razorgore Chariots give no damn here, yelling west side as they ride here down the hill into some Marauder Horsemen. But once again, nice pick, using the mass to try and trap these guys in. Dragon Ogres as well, though. Looks like they are going to break. They might be able to pull down these Razor Chariots, but no, it looks like the Dragon Ogres do in fact shatter there completely. That's going to make this Death Ball even harder to deal with, but once again, the consistent fireballs coming in, getting such fantastic value. Aiming at the Minotaurs now is a good pick, as every single model that is killed, you see another one going down here, is going to reduce their damage output they do. And, you know, you may think, why don't you do fireballs towards Morga? He's weak to fire, of course, as he does have regeneration. But all the Chaos need to do at this point is single out the Minotaurs, break them, and then you surround Morga at the end and drag him down. He's very tanky, but he doesn't do a huge amount of damage. So if there's a kind of mass blobs around him, he will eventually go down. Now, nice play coming by the Beastmen player, running over these isolated Chaos Warriors with the Razor Goals, basically doing what the Chaos was doing to him and trying to hunt down these isolated units. Razor Goal Chats could simply pop over to the Chaos Warriors here as well, but they have to be careful. The Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Fire is on the prowl. Coming in here, slapping up some Besticle Herds. Nicer answer here with the Minotaurs with great weapons, but the Chaos Sorcerer Lord is so fast here, bounding back up into the air. And the Gorbel left with a sad face there, completely surrounded by more Royal Horsemen, who are going to be no doubt throwing some axes in. But he gets a glorious, he's a happy boy again, going with a nice head roll there into the forces of the Royal Horsemen. Axes once again thrown into the Minotaurs with great weapons, and it looks like we're going to be getting another fireball coming in here. Oh no, perhaps it was cancelled as Arcane Conduit was indeed popped as well. So we do have those Marauders finally getting back to the fray. Bounce power still Beastman favoured, but they are starting to run out of models in general. There's a 228 versus 34. Good odds for any Minotaur, I'm sure they would say. But Marauder Horsemen, once again, just trying to kite back and flee for now, and the Beastmen are starting to form that nasty death blob. Chaos Warriors and more Chaos Warriors are floating over, but to be honest, they're not going to do too much. They'll probably instantly shatter when they do get back. And there's a Marauder Horsemen who are slowly coming back to the fray, but apart from that, it looks like it is what you see is what you get. And we have this glorious little ball on the ground here. Looks like Chaos Sorcerer Lord is simply going to be waiting to get some more fireballs before he does engage here. But it looks like he's going to swoop down and do a little bit of a dummy, pop back up again just to lure these Minotaurs away from his horsemen. If I was a Beastman player, I'd slowly be making some aggressive moves towards these Chaos Warriors, trying to break them off, as well as these Chaos Marauders, rather than simply standing still and kind of waiting for more fireballs to come down. But looks like a second fireball is coming in now on the Minotaurs. Bam. And boosh, smacking him straight in the flank. And that is another Minotaur down, which is going to be really rough. In come all the Marauder Horsemasters, or Horsemen, sorry, not Horsemasters, trying their best. Call of Violence has been popped though, increasing the leadership of all these Beastmen forces. Manticore dives down on top of the Razor Gold Chariots. This Infantry Corps needs to be getting active as well, but looks like it may not matter here, as Besticles are forced off, as well as the Minotaurs. That Call of Violence really keeping the Beastmen in this at the moment. But Manticore once again comes swooping in. Call of Violence has been gone, and those Minotaurs are certainly going to break. But both the Marauder Horsemen as well may have been sacrificed to that end. These guys need to pull back, use their mobility to simply chase down that last Minotaur. And then it is just the Hero Corps left. In come the Chaos Marauders marching in formation here, which I'm sure they're going to get a nasty ramrod in a second. And there we go, straight down the barrel, as that Gorbel up to 47 kills. Done some decent work so far, been pretty impressed with the boy. But the Manticore coming in for some nice hit and run attacks as well. Marauder Horsemen chasing down Besticles, which is what you expect. Good play all round. And yeah, it's simply going to be the heroes now, getting repeatedly cycle charged by the Sorcerer Lord while they're bogged down with all this chaff. So we are going to speed this up a little bit here, as I can kind of see how this is going to go. Simply going to target down the Gorbel until they can force him off. Looks like Call of Violence has been popped though, trying to keep these guys more active, and they're doing decent damage overall, tearing apart Horsemen and Marauders alike. Those guys are a little bit cheap, and you know, not the most loyal of troops overall. But as we see, constant cycle charging will bring down the Gorbel there, and it's just Morga left. And Morga is pretty decent, but can he beat a Manticore? Perhaps in a one-in-one engagement, but certainly not when he's doing glorious cycle charging such as this, and also being pulled down by, you know, Chaos's finest warriors there. So a nice Pyrrhic victory. Let's go to the end stats there. Massive shout out to Palpatine for sending this replay in. Really fun game, showcasing some units I don't get to see too much. Also well played to BBB's Sanfam there. Very good game. Once again, bringing some unexpected units. Really fun builds all round. I think the Dragon Ogres did do good work despite their low kill counts. They managed to kind of tie up the Minotaurs for a long amount of time and do a huge amount of damage to them as well. Real MVP here though, I believe, was the Chaos Sorcerer Lord. Those constant fireballs really slowly started to whittle down the health of both the Brave Shaman of Death, but also those Minotaurs in the late game, and that cycle charging on top of the Manticore, he can certainly pack a punch indeed. But yeah, as for the Beastmen forces, it was a pretty interesting build. Razor Chariots did very well, up to 81 kills, and the Mino Rush, it's, you know, tried and true, tried and tested, sorry, formula, doing some pretty decent work. And it's also fantastic to see no wild or beast caster. I know they're very powerful, so I don't blame Beastmen players for picking them, but it can be a little bit you know, repetitive when you're just constantly facing 6 summons every single game. Gorbel as well, I wish his mechanics were slightly better, but he's still a very good character all round, up to 67 kills. He was having a whale of a time swimming through the filthy marauders there. So I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, please do give the video a big old thumbs up, and feel free to subscribe to stick around for more content. We do Total War Warhammer multiplayer battles, tournaments, King of the Hills, all of that good stuff. So yeah, feel free to stick around. If you want to have your videos put up on the channel, get involved in tournaments, and yeah, just chat to a load of cool guys, feel free to join my Discord. There's a link just down below. And if you also want to support the channel in any other way, I do have a Patreon account as well. If you are seeking advice on how to play Chaos, I highly recommend getting in touch with Papa Palpatine. You can do that on my Discord. He is a very, very talented Chaos main. There's not too many Chaos mains around anymore, but he's certainly up there. Him and Zero are probably my 2 favourite Chaos mains at the moment. But anyway guys, until next time, peace, and as always, stay awesome.